Once you start doing these things on a long enough timeline, you're going to find happiness and things will start to fall in place for you in ways that you really wouldn't expect. How is it going, ladies and gentlemen? This is Sean Barnes. I want to welcome you back to The Way of the Wolf. We're a little over halfway through the 2023 year, and I decided that I would like to talk about 5 ways that we can focus on improving ourselves. Yes, the underlying theme of this show is all around becoming the best version of ourselves, but haven't had a dedicated episode focusing on key topics and things that we can focus on or work on to really become better. As humans, we have a tendency to mark the passage of time through growth. When we're children, this is actually pretty easy because that growth is physical in nature, and we can mark our height month over month or year over year on the door jamb. When we become adults, that growth is less guaranteed, but arguably even more important. So I want to talk about 5 things that we can focus on for the rest of this year to become a better version of ourselves. Before we do, I'm going to ask a favor. Could you please take 20 seconds, pause this, leave a review for the show, leave a comment, subscribe, like, share. Anything you could do would really help me out. I really appreciate it. Never going to monetize the show. This is truly just to help you guys out. And along the vein of becoming better, I want feedback on what I can do different and I can do better. Okay, let's go ahead and dive in. The first one that I want to talk about, not surprising, is focusing on your health. There's a few key areas that really come to mind whenever I think about the importance of our health. Nutrition is going to be first and foremost. I've had a number of people come on the show over the years that talk about nutrition, what to eat, what not to eat. This is kind of foundational. Whenever you want to focus on your health, you have to get your nutrition in line first. Another aspect when it comes to health is obviously some form of exercise or fitness routine. You don't have to go be a CrossFitter. You don't have to be a bodybuilder or a power lifter. You can go do yoga. You can do Pilates. You can go play rugby. There's all sorts of physical activities and ways for us to strengthen our bodies. I would encourage you, if you don't have any sort of a fitness routine or thing that you enjoy related to physical fitness, start trying something new. Even if it's just going for a walk every single day or every other day, do something physical in nature to get yourself into a better. This is actually going to help out in a lot of other areas of life, but physically, we want to be strong. We want to be lean. So having some sort of fitness routine is important. Rest and recovery, huge. Nutrition, rest, and training. These are big buckets when it comes to your physical health that I want all of you to try to focus on. We've had a number of guests that come on the show to talk about this over the years. Scott Wells, Chris Tarver, Chase Banks, all of these shows and these gentlemen that have come on, we've talked about various aspects of physical fitness. I would encourage you to check out those shows and start pushing yourself, trying to be better in terms of your physical fitness. The next big ticket item that I want to focus on is mindfulness. This can involve journaling. This can involve meditation, trying to find some sort of a healthy balance of sharing your time with others and then having time to yourself to be able to reflect on life and figure out what it is that you want in life. Processing your life, figuring out what's going on, and then figuring out what you need to do next. I've had a few guests that have been on the show to talk through this as well. Robert Pardi, phenomenal episode and guest. Please go follow him. Steve Ware also came on, talked a lot about mindfulness and how it completely changed his life. Okay, nurturing relationships. This one's a little bit more challenging. It's important that we understand certain relationships with certain people are good for us, and some relationships with people are not good for us. It doesn't matter how long they've been in our lives, how much we care about them, how much they mean to us. If there is somebody in your life that drags you down, makes you feel bad, or pulls you into their nexus of drama and turmoil, you've got to create some distance there. And whenever I say that's challenging, that is what I'm talking about. Because if you have someone in your life that you care for and love, creating distance is not going to be easy. But you've got to assess, is this person good for my well-being? And if not, create some distance. One trick: start focusing on spending time with people that are good for your well-being. Another thing that I'd like to talk about when it comes to nurturing relationships is we live in this always on society. We're busy from the time we wake up to the time we go to sleep. And then in many instances, we end up waking up in the middle of the night and scrolling through our phones, whether it's checking and responding to emails, whether it's looking at social media. We're in this always on state, and we're always too busy. I would encourage you to reach out to old friends, people that might have been an important aspect of your life in the past, but because you just got so busy, you haven't made time. David Tyner actually talked about this whenever he was on the show. And he makes a concerted effort to reach out to 4 or 5 people a month or year. I can't remember the duration of time, but to reach out to people and just, hey, how have you been? You doing okay? Anything I can help you out with? It goes a really long way. So when you think about nurturing relationships, I want you to really focus on the people that are good for your well-being. Spend time with them, reconnect with them. Next one I want to touch on is furthering your career. Now, this channel is really heavily focused on furthering your career. Yes, we delve into a lot of other topics, but whenever I talk about a topic, usually it has something to do with career advancement, whether it's building a business or climbing that corporate ladder or just trying to be successful. I talk a lot about effective communication and delegation and managing conflict. So there's a lot of that really comes into play when you want to try to focus on furthering your career. But continuing education is a big piece of that. Whether you find a coach or a mentor, or you start studying and getting some certifications, all of these things are important aspects of career development. Chad Carden, Daniel Wolfson, Philip Sessions, and Swanson, both of those guys have been on, all talked a lot about furthering your career, becoming better, effective communication. So there's a lot of aspects to that topic of furthering your career. The biggest thing that you can do is really find somebody that can coach you and guide you and help you along the way. Even if it's just a phone call once a month or once a quarter, like, hey, I'm struggling with this. What are your thoughts? Getting feedback from people that have been there and done that can help launch you to that next level at a much more rapid pace without you having to fumble your way through it on your own. And the last one that I want to touch on is living for more than yourself. Go volunteer at animal shelters. Man, that's challenging because it's fulfilling, but then you also want to take every single one of them home, and that's not always possible. But when you start living for more than yourself, you discover how fulfilling life can be when you're helping others. And that's something that I myself have become very passionate about. And there are a lot of times I'll have coaching calls where people just reach out, hey, can I get some guidance? And I end up spending an hour or two on the phone helping them out, talking through their business and their challenges and things like that. I don't even charge them for it. It's really just, hey, here's my thoughts. Hope it helps. The genuine appreciation and gratitude that comes from somebody that knows that you're doing it just out of the kindness of your heart, there's something to that. There's a fulfillment that comes from it that is difficult to truly describe. Paying it forward. You always see these things on the internet where people talk about paying it forward, where they're in the Starbucks line and they pay for the person behind them. There's definitely something to that. If you find yourself in a position where you have achieved success or you've done great things, you have a responsibility to help those behind you, to lift them up. Not everybody does that. But when you start thinking about the value of helping others, this really falls onto living for more than yourself. And one of my hopes is that people that view the show getting understanding of how important that is and how fulfilling that is. Special shout out to Terry Weaver. He's been on the show before, and that guy, man, he is the epitome of living for others. Almost all the things he does is really to help other people out. Okay, so doing all of these things might feel like a bit much. It could be overwhelming to say, okay, well, Sean, you listed out 5 things, but damn, there's a lot there. Okay, that's fair. So I'm going to challenge you. Why not just do 2 or 3 of those things and spend the rest of this year focusing on doing those 2 or 3 things to the best of your ability? It's not going to be easy. Change never is. But figure out a way to constantly remind yourself of, hey, I'm going to do this, this, and this, whether it's a sticky note on your computer or on your desk or a reminder on your phone. Start focusing on what 2 or 3 things are most important to you to become a better version of yourself this year. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and summarize this for all of you really quickly. Focus on your health, mindfulness, relationships, career, and living for others. Once you start doing these things on a long enough timeline, you're going to find happiness. And things will start to fall in place for you in ways that you really wouldn't expect. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have for you on the show today. If any of you have any ideas for a show or would like some thoughts or feedback or guidance on maybe some challenges that you are experiencing, don't hesitate to reach out to me, Sean@thewayofthewolf.com or _Sean Barnes on all social media platforms. Y'all have a good one.